Hey essay writers, welcome to week 8. This is it. This is the end. This is the last week, the last video. Means you're going to get your last assignments here and your last bit of advice. This week I just wanted to talk about incorporating quotations into your work. You might do this in any of the essays that we wrote, but more so in the persuasive and the analytical essays, because sometimes for those you're doing research and quoting information from other people. So whenever you're taking something from another piece of writing and the words are not yours, you need to put them in quotation marks. And often we use quotations from other people as evidence, as support, to illustrate our points, so it's important to know how to incorporate quotes. There are a lot of ways to do it, and I just have 3 examples up here, and then there are many resources online, so I'll point a few out for you. But let's start with these. In this first example, the quotation comes from a short verse, small piece of poetry, and what we start out with is, as John Greenleaf Whittier wrote, and whenever you introduce a quote, you need a comma before the quotation marks. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these, it might have been. So that's his short little poem. Because it is a short piece, we can incorporate it right into our sentence. We don't need to set it off in a separate paragraph of its own. You would do that if it took up more than 3 lines of writing, then you need to set it off in its own paragraph. It's indented. But here, we have incorporated into the sentence. The forward slashes are what you use whenever you are quoting from poetry or song lyrics. There are often line breaks in between sentences. I mean, a sentence hasn't been completed and there's a line break. That's what these forward slashes indicate. So, the way that we've done this, it is very clear who wrote the words, because we have indicated that in our introduction to the quote, and the quote itself fits right into the sentence. Done a similar thing in this second example. According to Mayor Cheryl Sheridan, comma, quotation, the protest was peaceful and effective. Period, quotation. Punctuation typically goes inside the quotation marks at the end of the sentence. So again, we have what is called a signal phrase. Whenever you introduce a quote in a way that indicates you're about to introduce a quote, and usually it tells you who has said it, that's called a signal phrase. So again, we've done that. We've incorporated her words directly into our sentence. And on the final one, the ad states that you can have it your way, which is an obvious attempt to imply that each meal is individually prepared instead of mass-produced. So there, same thing. The ad states serves as our signal phrase. It lets us know, lets the reader know that when they see this thing in quotation marks here, it has come from an ad. And presumably there's context here. This would belong perhaps in an essay that is examining an ad for, I think it's Burger King that has the have it your way, have it your way jingle. Actually, I don't know if they even still use that, but the context would allow the reader, they would know when you say the ad, that you're talking about the ad that you're analyzing and that this phrase has come from that. So, signal phrases to introduce quotes are a good way to go, and with all of these, I can continue writing immediately after this. If I wanted to go on to say more about this, I don't need to start a new paragraph. I can just continue right after the quote. It has been incorporated into my writing. Same thing with any of these. So that is a very brief lesson about incorporating quotations. When you provide the writer or the speaker in your sentence that is incorporating the quote, you won't always then need to have a page that cites resources that you've used. If you've identified the resource in your introduction, then you don't necessarily have to have a separate works cited entry for it. But when you are quoting from other work, you do generally need to keep track of those sources of where you're getting that information, and then you would, at the end of an essay, list all of your resources where you found the quotations. So, in terms of incorporating quotations, there are a lot of resources online. I have put 3 that I think are pretty good in a folder on the Edmodo site. The folder is called Incorporating Quotations, and you will see those 3 links, and they will give you more information about these methods, but other methods as well. And the Purdue OWL website is a wonderful one, particularly for citing your sources. They will have the correct format for any kind of source you want to cite, whether you got a quote from a book or from a speaker or from a website, from something you heard on the radio. They'll tell you how you should note that at the end of your essay. So that is your food for thought this week, your last bit of advice in this essay writing class, and then we have a few assignments for this week. It is a second amnesty week for your essays. Some of you have turned in 4 essays, and that's wonderful. Some of you have only received 1, and that's great, but I'd love to see more. So, amnesty. You have until May 12th to submit as many essays as you would like. If you've completed all of your essays, consider doing a second or a third or a 4th draft of one to really get it completed and polished and in final copy format. So that's assignment number 1, is that it's Amnesty Week. Get in any outstanding essays, as many as you can. Push yourself to get it done. It's the last week. So anything I receive by May 12th, I will gladly offer feedback on. Another assignment for this week, I have a survey that I would like for you to fill out. And there is a link to that on the website. So please take 5 minutes. It might not even take you 5 minutes. And fill that out for me. It will help me tremendously in teaching this class again or teaching other online classes. So thank you very much for being a part of this first online essay class that I have done, and I look forward to both receiving any more essays that you turn in and also hearing your feedback, because I really value what you think of the class and how it has worked for you. I would love to know. So happy writing, happy week 8, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Take care.